Yeah. Sorry, I like making funny faces more than I like making videos about serious things. But every once in a while there's a video that just needs to be made because no one else has pointed it out yet. I do not think Charlie Hooper is charismatic, which wouldn't be so important except for the fact that if you look up the word charisma on YouTube, the first maybe 10, 15 videos that come up are from Charisma on Command, which is the top charisma channel. So, kudos to him for being the first person to popularize charisma as something you teach. But Charlie, I think you probably think that you're way more charismatic than you actually are because, again, you're a pioneer in your field, so you don't really have any competition. So first, let me list a few of the people who I do think are charismatic, so if you disagree, you can just disregard everything I have to say here. Charles Manson, Bob Ross, Ayn Rand, Stephen Colbert, Jennifer Lawrence, Amanda Palmer. I understand that these examples might not actually have much in common on a surface level, but that's actually why I've chosen them as examples, because once you take examples from all different areas, from politics to entertainment, etc., then I feel like that gives us a more complete, universal understanding of charisma. So those are just some of the charismatic people I don't want to say look up to, because some of them are serial killers, but I at least derive knowledge from them. The things I'm going to go over in this video wouldn't really be a problem if Charlie weren't specifically making a channel about how to be charismatic, but since he is, I think they need to be brought up. 1, you sort of look like you've gotten Korean smile surgery. If you don't know what that is, it's in Korea, people think it's charismatic to smile all the time, like even when you're sad or angry, so sometimes they get the corner of their lip sort of tilted up like the Joker smile, and it's creepy as hell. Now, I don't know if Charlie has actually gotten Korean smile surgery or if he's just trying really hard to smile all the time, but either way, stop it. Stop it. One of the key concepts of charisma is seeming trustworthy, and you don't seem trustworthy when you have a fake expression on your face all the time. I think especially in America, we have this problem where we think we need to act like we're happy all the time. A common greeting is saying, "How are you?" and the other person's supposed to say, "I'm good," and if you say, "I'm terrible," then that's considered impolite. But being happy all the time simply is not a sustainable state of being, and if you're trying to project that all the time, it's going to end up being obviously fake after a certain point. So the reason that Charlie's fake smile makes him uncharismatic is that it makes his expressions very hard to read. And an important part of charisma is transparency, because it's important to believe what you're saying and in turn be able to share that feeling and that belief with the person you're interacting with and form a true connection. Many charisma experts emphasize how you need to have a lot of hand gestures and be very animated to be charismatic. And while I think that can be true, I think that it's a big oversimplification of charisma. I think that Charlie overdoes the hand gestures, and it does 2 things. 1, it distracts you from what he actually has to say and his potential charisma because you're too busy wondering why he's moving around so much. And 2, it may seem actually a little bit belittling to the audience because personally I think, what does this guy think, I'm stupid? I know that he's making 2 points. I don't have to see him go like this and this to figure it out. Charlie also has this little nervous laugh that sort of bubbles up when he's talking about something that isn't particularly funny. I think he does it to make it sound like he's at ease, but it makes him sound more like he's out of breath. Part of being charismatic is I think you have to be calm and comfortable with what you're saying, and although Charlie is very excited all the time, he doesn't seem comfortable to me. I think sometimes an important part of charisma is subtlety. In my opinion, more times than not, charisma is not about what you do, it's about what you don't do, or choose not to do. Some people try to be charismatic by being really funny and witty all the time, having the best jokes or the best punchlines, but something I've noticed is that it's a lot more effective to just relax and listen to the other person, and it's also a lot easier. that is going to make you feel more comfortable. And once you get more comfortable, you get more charismatic. So it creates kind of this positive feedback loop. I also think that's another American cultural thing where in America we think that you have to be an extrovert to be charismatic. But if we're looking at universal charisma, I don't think that being an extrovert is necessary. Charlie does talk about being shy as a kid and how he worked really hard on being more of an extrovert. So now Charlie is bubbling over with energy. Maybe that heightened level of energy is appropriate if you're making a video, but if I was in a one-on-one conversation with somebody and they were acting like that, I would see that as a huge red flag. I would think that they were manic and eccentric and want to get away from them. Normally, I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable analyzing somebody's behavior and picking them apart and then posting it online, but since Charlie literally does this for a living, I don't feel too bad about it. And, I don't really think it's wrong. If I were him, I would want somebody to tell me these things so I could be more charismatic. Plot twist, I am him. Maybe you don't even act like that for real life, and your videos are just an inaccurate portrayal of your personality, in which case, I am sorry I criticized you. But the good part is I'm just some random person on YouTube, and this probably isn't going to affect anything at all. In fact, it'll probably generate publicity for you, so you're welcome. The other thing I wanted to do is ask people for input. So in the comments below, if you have any people who talk about charisma who you think are more charismatic than Charlie, if you could post them, so maybe we could get sort of a more diverse conversation going on YouTube instead of just this one guy who talks about being the one expert on charisma and nobody else. The end.